Let's go, Kris. Yeah. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. We are with my man, the myth, the legend, Kris Dim. Kris, I'm super excited to have you on the podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Kris, I'm going to do a quick introduction on you. So, business-wise, you opened up your first max multiple muscle nutrition. Is that the actual title of the business?
It's Max Muscle Nutrition Store.
Okay, Max. It was written twice. All right, nutritional store by the age of 21. You've owned multiple nutrition stores by the time you were 25 years old. But you're 30 now, so that's pretty recent, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you hit 7 figures at the age of 25 with your stores. That's very impressive. And you opened up 3 gyms, one being Fitness Rock gym known as Sac Mecca. We opened up 2 Bootcamp studios following that, and you're currently doing online coaching. So you're located in Sacramento, correct?
Yeah, Elk Grove, which is right by Sacramento.
Okay. Fun fact is most of our audience have no clue anyways, right? So just like you think Canada's probably just one large city, we just assume the U.S. is just one large city as well. So, but probably the size of Sacramento is probably the size of Winnipeg, which is fun. And so personal, you won the Natural Universe by the time you were 19. You won Mr. California by the time you were 21. And you won Mr. USA at the age of 29. 30 years old, you won the Nationals and got your IFBB Pro card. And those are really hard to come by, correct?
Yeah, so it's a lot easier now because back then all they had was bodybuilders.
Yeah.
So now they got men's physique, classic physique, all the other stuff. But you know, now when I was competing at the national, there was 86 guys in my class.
Wow.
So
and how many cards? How many cards would they hand out?
Back then, a total of, as far as cards is for men's bodybuilding, for the year, you have 8 cards total.
8 cards on the entire year.
For the year, yeah. Now, I mean, you know, you're probably like 50 cards, 60 cards.
Okay, so basically to say, back then it was tough. Any big namers that you could think of that maybe some of our audience
I was meeting guys like,
because I've seen your photos. Like I've definitely seen, because I was like, oh, Asian guy, you know what I mean? Asian guy. So I've definitely seen your photo on some of these. Like what's some of the magazines? Sorry, let's go with first name. I want to know first names of some of the big legends that you've worked out with or that you've competed against, and then I want to know what magazines you've been on.
Yeah, I mean, so Milos is my coach, and he's been on tons of magazine cover all over the world. Okay. But I competed against guys like Chris Comier, beating guys like him, and nice. David Henry, another big name. Yeah. Marcus Rule is considered to be a German freak. Okay. Gustavo Badell, another guy, beat it, which is taken second at the Olympia. Yeah. And then, of course, I competed with Ronnie Coleman.
Oh, wow.
8th Olympia.
Nice. So, give me 3 magazines that we might know.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on Muscle and Fitness, Flex Magazine, Muscle Magazine. Yeah. I mean, those are the 3 biggest magazines in the world, but I've been probably about a dozen magazine cover all over the world.
So just to give everybody an idea, that was probably 10, 15 years ago-ish?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's about when I started training. Well, I started when I was about 17. I'm 37 now, so that's 20 years. So, but when I was 17, 18, 19, the only real sources of, like, anything was those magazines, right? You didn't really have the internet, right? I remember going to the university and looking at bodybuilding books, right? So like when you make those magazines, you're basically on the only platform available. Now there's like Instagram, there's Facebook, TikTok. You can be on all these like different platforms. So you can be famous on multiple areas, but now like if you get on that one magazine, there's only a dozen guys that make those things. So that's
I mean, those are, when you work out, everyone knows Muscle and Fitness. That's obviously the biggest magazine in the world. Yeah. But, it's a blessing, but it's kind of a platform for all the other Asians because back then they say that Asian guys can't get that big and can't, get to that level. Okay. So, yeah, even though Ronnie Coleman outweighs me by 100 pounds on stage,
yeah, yeah,
but being able to compete at that level with these guys,
yeah,
you know, was a blessing for me, but it's also a platform, just kind of like the 40-minute mile, right?
yeah.
Same concept.
Yeah.
So then after me, then you see all the Asian pros that starts to take place because they believe that they can do it too.
Love that. I love that. All right, well, let's keep going. So 30 years old, you won your nationals and you got your pro card. 4 months after that, you completed your first professional pro show, took top 3 and qualified for Mr. Olympia. So Mr. Olympia is the Mecca, right?
That's the Super Bowl. That's the best and the best in the planet.
That's the Stanley Cup for us Canadians.
Yeah, exactly.
So you took 12th place at the Mr. Olympia. Your first ever Asian bodybuilder in the world to get on that platform. That's phenomenal. You've ran a business. You've ran multiple businesses. You raised your family. You got, how many kids do you have?
I have 2 boys, but then with me and Jill, there's four boys total.
Oh wow, just a boy maker.
Yeah.
So, but your kids are pretty like up there too, right? Your one's a fighter.
Yeah. One of my older son, my first son, he's MMA.
He's ripped.
He's I mean that genetic.
Yeah. Well, he's like, what is he, about 140-ish pounds, 45? Like,
yeah, he fights at 145.
Yeah, exactly. And you competed at? What did you compete at?
As far as him?
No, you. What weight class? Like that photo behind you there to your right.
So I started as a bantamweight, and then I went up to a middleweight, then a welterweight, then a light heavyweight.
Okay.
And then when you get to the pro rank, there is no weight class.
Okay. So let's go through those classes. So you start as a bantam. Give me a weight range of that.
So my first pro show, I competed at 130 pounds.
What? Okay. And do you have a photo of that?
I also wrestled 98 pounds, though. I mean, my freshman year, I wrestled 98 pounds. When I told people I was going to be a bodybuilder, they laughed.
So freshman year of college?
Freshman year in high school.
Oh, high school. Okay. So so freshman for us, that's grade 9. We go by grades. So grade 9 is freshman, right? Then you got your sophomore, which is grade 10. Then you got your juniors, grade 11. Then you got your seniors, grade 12. So you were less than 100 pounds when you were 16, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And then you competed when you won your natural universe by 19. You were 130. So that's
19. I was, let's see here. I would say I probably was about 140, 45 poundish around there.
Is that competition or is that like?
That's competition weight.
Competition weight. Okay, so 19, you're 145. 21 was your next big one. So how much did you weigh then?
21, I was about 165, somewhere around there.
And that's only what, 2 years? Wow. Okay. You know, if I gain 5 pounds, I'm like, I gained 5 pounds. You know what I mean? But it's a different mindset at that point. Like you went all in for this, right? So
yeah. I mean, I ate, sleep, breathe, bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it. I mean, I rode my bike to the gym. I mean, all the kids are hanging out and playing video games and whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And to me, I was the oddball that, you know, every time they asked me to do something, like they're like, man, you gotta go work out again.
Yeah.
But, you know, obviously, like anything else, that's the mindset you have to have.
Totally. And that's the thing is people think, well, it's just working out. Like, I love working out. It's like, okay, well, live working out, right? Like, do something all the time. It's like right now, you and I consider us work athletes, right? You still compete on that nature. I still go play, you know, touch football, basketball, like organized stuff. So, yeah, we're athletes in that nature. But, I mean, you take it to the next platform. So it's hard to compare senior ball to, like, getting on stage. But, you know, that's how people's life has got to be, is like, this is now your new sport. Right? Life is your new sport, and you got to live it, and you got to go all in with it. Don't be kind of half-assing it, toe-stepping things. Like, you know what? Today I'm gonna try this, and you know what? I didn't like that. I'm not gonna do it. And then you know what I mean? Like right now, we got to go through a little bit of pain, especially going through this COVID, right? Like everybody has an opportunity to take their life to the next level. So it's like if you don't want to jump all in and go cold turkey with things, like you want to give up wine, you want to give up sugar, you know what I mean? You want to eat better, then just like either integrate it slowly now so it's not such a big, or the Kris Dim method, go all out. You know, like you want to lose 30 pounds, boom, there you go. Kris gained 30 in 2 years. So lose 30 in 2, right? But be all in.
I mean, I think most people, they got 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and like anything. So like they never really put full effort into whatever it is. Yeah. So same thing with business. It's the same thing with losing weight, or I mean, it's the same thing. So like, you know, that's why I like Grant Cardone 10X rule, because it's like, a lot of people go, well, you can't do both. I'm like, no, you can. I mean, even back when I, you know, when I had my family, you know, when my kids were just born, and I was married, and it was like, you know, I had pretty much, you know, I had multiple nutrition stores, around 3 nutrition stores. Then I had a family. And then basically, then I was also trying to get my IFBB Pro card. Yeah. So you know, I would get up at 4 a.m. in the morning and work out, and then I would get done. Yeah. And get to one of the store, take a quick nap, get up, make a deposit, and then run the store till 7 o'clock. Yeah. Get up at 7 o'clock, get back in the gym, and then basically go home, cook all my meals, because I was eating 8 meals a day back then. Okay. And you know, basically, then you know, you start all over again, and then. Friday night was, you know, date night, and Sunday was always family day. So like I had to have holy structure, or else I wasn't going to get it done. But it's possible, like anything else.
Totally. So yeah, like if people are, one of the things, and you deal with a lot of moms and dads and stuff, and they're just like, I just don't have the time, right? And I find that when people say that they don't have the time, I always, you know, with the coaching clients that we work with, I say, okay, well, I want you to do a timestamp, right? Like if you're busy and you're overwhelmed, then what you need to do is just track everything you're doing in a day. And I bet you if 80% of us, like of the population, did that once, they'd realize that you have 3 or 4 hours where you just like, you either sat there on your phone, right? Or you watch 2 or 3 hours of Netflix. And it's like, well, those 2 or 3 hours, instead of staying up till some people, like we have this challenge, this Garmin challenge going, right? And I'm looking at when people are updating their watches. I'm like, what are you doing going to bed at midnight? You know what I mean? What are you doing going to bed at 1? And then, you know, if you're not making your workouts, or you're not having time to prepare your nutrition, and you're wondering why you're bogged down throughout the day, well, naturally your body is meant to rise with the sun, right? So when the sun comes up, unless you got complete blackout curtains, your body's naturally going to get up, and you've just lost 2-3 hours because you stayed up till midnight checking on your phone or watching Netflix. And so it's like, you gotta, what you're saying, and I'm the exact same way, is that there's gonna be some sacrifices. Or if you want to look at it a positive note, is that you're gonna gain through change. Meaning, if I want to be a full-time dad, I want to run my businesses, I want to run my, you know, be an online consultant and just be, you know, legendary, then what I've had to give up was, well, now I have to be sleeping by 9. Right? The other day, I forced myself to stay up till 10 so I could sleep until 6:30. It didn't work out that way. In fact, I felt overwhelmed, and I felt behind the 8 ball because I lost those 2 hours. Today, I got up at 4, did my thing. I was like, nice ease into it, boom, and I created a whole system that we're able to follow, and that's going to create the future. That's going to make it easier for me. Right?
You know, I always say you'll never have time. You have to make time, like anything else. You know, you're saying, okay, I don't have time. Well, if I told you that, you know, if you got in shape, I mean, you drop 30 pounds and I give you $1 million, would you make time?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So like, you know, is really time an issue, or is it because you know, really don't want to do it, or you're not motivated enough to really push yourself to that level?
Right. And so we all have the same 24 hours in a day, and you can't make more time, but you can take time and you can swap it out, right? It's just like you can swap out a piece of cake for a chicken thigh, right? You can make that decision, and it is that easy. Like, we all have the same amount of hours. You just figure, okay, what can I take that isn't providing any value in my life or those around me? What is it that I need to do? Okay, boom, let's just swap those. It's that easy.
You know, it's so funny when they talk about the time factor, and I said, okay, let's look at time for a second.
Yeah.
How many hours do you sleep? They'll tell me about 6, 7 hours.
Yeah.
I go, okay, so that's, let's say 7 hours. Let's even say 8 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. So you sleep for 8 hours.
Yeah.
That means there's 16 hours left. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in that 16 hours, let's say you worked another 8 hours.
Yep.
Right. So now basically you still got, 6 hours left. Okay. Let's say you spend, you make a dinner for the kids, whatever else. Mm-hmm. Let's just take another 2 hours. Okay. Yep. There's still 4 hours in a day that you have that you can make time for.
Yep.
So, like I said, once you break down the time factor, then it's like, okay, well, is it really time?
Yeah.
Or is it that you're lazy and you really don't want to do it?
I love it. I love it. So in 2019, you went back on stage. So just last year, and you did the Arnold Classic, and you took second. And in the Olympia, you took third. And so what was the reason? Why go back, right? And I don't even think people know your story. So I want to get into, like, people see you sitting, but I don't think anybody really knows what's going on right now.
Yeah, so I actually retired back in 2009. Like I hung up the belt. I'm done. Yeah. I wasn't going to compete anymore at all. But 8 years ago, I went in for surgery. Mm-hmm. My aorta I had an aorta surgery. So they cut me from the back of my shoulder blade through my rib cage to the front of my stomach, opened me up sideways, fillet me. Mm. Took the stent out because they put a stent that didn't hold up. Okay. And then fixed me the right way. And when I woke up with a T11 spinal cord injury. Anybody who don't know what that is, that's from the belly button down where I have no filling. Yeah. And so, I remember being in that, that hospital, and they put me in the ice suit for like 2 days, and I didn't understand why. Yeah. And then finally, after the second day, I was freezing cold, and I said, hey, can you please take this ice suit off? Yeah. And I found out that the reason why they put that suit on is because they wanted to try to preserve my spine. Okay. And so when I woke up, finally, still grogginess, the doctor walked back in, and he looked like he was almost in tears. Yeah. Because him and I had a relationship, and we built the relationship. Yeah. And he said, Kris, I don't know what I did, but I did everything that I supposed to do. Yeah. And there's a chance you'll never walk again. Wow. And then that's when I was kind of groggy, try to feel my leg, try to move my toes. Yeah. Nothing was moving. And I realized, man, this is probably going to be the biggest challenge of my life here.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know how am I going to get through this. And just walking at point A to point B, I mean, like I'm talking about transferring from a wheelchair to the toilet, to the bed, the basic stuff we take for granted. I had to learn all that. Even getting into the car, learning how to get in the car without your legs working, and driving with hand control. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about a whole lifestyle change. I mean, that's exactly what it was. Mm-hmm. And but fast forward, I haven't competed in 10 years, and then I decided to challenge myself because I was getting fat, I was getting out of shape. Okay. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna come back. Yeah. And then again, people thought there's no way he's gonna be able to come back from that, especially after 10 years not competing. Yeah. And then, but what makes it more challenging is a lot of people don't understand is that when you have no legs, in other words, your legs are not working, trying to get into those workout equipment is really almost impossible. So you had to learn how to improvise. And, like Bedros says, if you don't have the resource, get resourceful, figure it out. Mm-hmm. So I started basically just trying to figure it out. But then I had my leg, which is Jill. Jill, she's the one who helped me take the weights off, put the weights on, get the extra force reps. When you can't do anymore, and she's like, it's so funny. She goes, you just won't move. You'll push and you stay there. And I go, well, because I'm not going to drop it. So then she'll help me like another 3-4 reps. And then like anything else, it's like, that's the most painful time for the workout, whether you're doing boot camp, whether you're working out. It's like when you have nothing left and you push yourself another 2-3 reps. That's how champions are made of. So like I came back and I did it to challenge myself, but I did it to show other people like, look, this is possible. You know, you might not have the same circumstance that I have and doing what I'm doing, but like if you want to get in shape, it could be done. If you want to lose weight, it can be done. If you want to, you know, build your business, it can be done. You got to be able to challenge yourself and come back and knowing that you can get it done. And, you know, most people, you know, they don't. And it's like when the pain thrusts hit, they're like, I quit. And to me, I was like, no, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to finish these shows and I'm going to finish strong. And so, you know, the Arnold in the wheelchair, Mr. Olympia, those are the two biggest shows on the planet. And it means I took second in the planet and third in the planet. Wow. You know, so, but that was it. I mean, I did it to challenge myself, but this year they're going to retire me on the main stage, which is really cool. Yeah. But I did it just to prove to other people and myself that, look, it could be done. And then, you know, now I basically move on with my life, you know, do other things.
You absolutely don't baby yourself.
No. No way.
I love watching your videos. You know, you have every excuse and right to feel sorry for yourself, to be tired, to be fat, to be angry, right? You have every excuse and every right to do that, but you don't. And so that's why I was like excited to get you on this video. And I love the story that you shared in Cambodia. But it's, I mean, you've got that one and you've got this one. I mean, it's like which one's even harder? And I think a lot of people are going through struggles, and everybody has their own pain tolerance, right? So it's hard for like guys like you and me to say, you know, like suck it up and this and that, because everybody goes through things differently. And so if they're unable to work out at home because, you know, their kids are climbing on their back, or they got to get up too early, or they can't get up early because they're going to make a bunch of noise because they live in an apartment or whatever it is, right? Like for us to not be able to understand that, we get it. We do get it, right? So that's one thing. But number two is that like you've gone through all of those. Like to be able to just do a lat pull down, it requires thighs, right? And so if you want to sit down and do a lat pull down at a machine, you don't have those thighs. So if people don't have the space, if people don't have dumbbells, if people don't have the, you know, like the beautiful, like what we got here at the facility anymore, it's just like, think about that, right? Because you can make it happen. You had to make it happen. And so people can take that same mindset as like, you know what? And this is why I wanted to bring you on. Is like, man, Kris can do it, right? Kris can do it with so little. Why can't I do it when I have everything, right? And I've been there, dude. When I fractured my kneecap last year, I know exactly what you're talking about with the legs. Like just sitting and toilet and then taking the brace off and being so scared, and then having one leg and going in and scared to like slip, right? Like I had the advantage of having my other leg, but just going and getting people to pick you up and not being able to drive. Like I couldn't drive for 4 weeks, and that was like the big thing, was sitting at home waiting for somebody to come and pick me up, right? It's like, what am I, 15 again, right? And so you go through those mental anguishes of like feeling sorry for yourself and this and that. And the number one thing I think that you and I can tell our clients is just, you know what, just do the opposite. Whatever you're feeling, do the opposite, right? Prove yourself wrong first, and then find something that, you know, like for you, you're like, I proved them wrong. You don't even know who they are, I bet. You know what I mean? Like there's probably one or two people that motivate you, but find somebody to motivate you, right? Put a little fire under you, right? I like that.
Yeah, we all need it. We all need that motivations from somebody, you know, including myself. I mean, because you got to have your people that's going to push you. Yeah. And like as human beings, we're born to be lazy.
Okay, yeah. The body is designed to do as minimal work as possible.
Yeah. But so the thing about it is like, that's why you know, people go, why, Kris, you know, you got 30 years experience in the industry. Why do you have a coach? I have a coach because I need somebody to push me the same way.
100%.
So a coach needs a coach.
Yeah.
And so no matter how much experience you have, you got to have that accountability of somebody pushing you, because if not, you're not going to push yourself to that level. If you're working out at home by yourself and you don't have anybody to push you, you're going to do the bare minimum, like you're saying. And then when the pain thrusts hit, you're like, you know what? I did enough. I quit. Yes. You know, so.
And that's where the results kick in. That's where the results kick in, right? When it starts to burn, when it starts to hurt.
You know, just like Muhammad Ali says, you know, he doesn't count his reps until the pain thrust hit. And so, you know, you got to be able to push yourself to a next level if you want to get to where you need to get to, because your level is here.
Yes.
And like, you got to be pushed. And if you're trying to lose weight, your level is still going to be here. And if anything, it'll drop. Yes. So like, you got to go from here and have somebody push you to here. Then you drop 15 pounds, then you drop 20 pounds. Then you know what? I want to get some abs. Yes. You know, then the next thing is like, you know what? Because as human being, once you start to program yourself, it's never going to be enough no matter what it is. You're always trying to push yourself to the next level.
Yeah, and that's the only way that you evolve, right? We're evolutionary creatures, meaning that we started from the womb, we started on our backs, and then we started to crawl, and then we started to walk, and then we started to run, then we started to sprint, then we started to lift, then we start, right? So it's evolutionary, and that's the only way that people are going to progress through life. So when you say that you have a midlife crisis or you've hit a plateau, then you got to look at it as like, okay, so what else can I do now, right, to get to that next level? Right.
Yeah, so, and that's the reason why, like with me, like my people never hit a plateau. The reason why is because I'm either changing their workouts, I'm changing their eating, I'm changing their supplements. I'm always changing something. And if you're always changing something, your body is amazing. It'll keep shocking your system. It'll keep working. Where a lot of people go, well, I hit a plateau and I can't break it. Well, that's because now it has to do with knowledge. Like, okay, you know, they need somebody like yourself. They need somebody like a coach to like, okay, coach, I'm hitting a plateau right now, and I want to break myself to the next level. Okay, well, what's your eating right now? Okay, let's change your eating from, you know, your normal eating habit to like maybe doing like a 1 or 2 day ketogenic diet and 1 day carb diet, and fluctuate your body and get it to work again. And all of a sudden now, boom, your plateau is broken. Now you're getting used to that. Like, okay, maybe just do a carb meal before you work out, and maybe a carb meal after you work out for energy, and all the other time do keto. So there's a plateau. Just means that you got to do something different.
Yeah, and I do that all the time. I've been working out, like I said, since I was 17, and it wasn't until I actually changed up my nutrition that I actually made some gains, like some significant amount of gains, because the muscle is there. Like I have all the muscles. You know, I work out once, twice a day kind of thing. I go hard. So the muscle is there. It's just underneath my nutrition, right? And so let me pick your brain a little bit. So one of the things I want to do is a 3-week challenge, okay? So the challenge I want to do is 1 week I want to go high carb. So I'm going to set my macros, track it in MyFitnessPal. It's going to be cleaner carbs, right? Like fruits and grains and whatever else, right? Potato, rice. So 50% carbs, 25 protein, fat. I want to do that for a week. I want to see my energy levels. What are my workouts like? What's my brain functioning like? And and how does my physique look after 7 days? Because I think someone like me, it'll respond fairly quickly. And then the next week I'll go straight up high fats, and then the week after that I'll go high protein. Right? I don't want to go the high protein first and then go high fat, because I know if I do the high pro, I've already done that. Right, so I know what my end result is. So I want to go backwards with it, and I want to try keeping my calories like where they are, so just at 0, right, maintenance, and then just go and set my macros 50, 25, and then I'll just do like a 7-day progress and just see how that goes. I think I'm gonna get results anyways, because then I'm not gonna be eating M&Ms and nibs or whatever it is. But we're gonna see how that goes. So when you work with clients, you're saying that you switch up their nutrition quite a bit, right? Like, only when they hit a plateau.
Well, you know what? I try to change it every 4 to 6 weeks anyway. And the reason why is because your body is amazing. It will adapt to it. So I like to change my guys every 4 to 6 weeks, because I know that if I did that, it's going to shock their system regardless. Okay. So, to me, it's just a matter of like, okay, how can we change it up again? Yeah. Because after 4 to 6 weeks, your body will get used to it. I mean, just a matter of fact, I just talked to one of my guys yesterday, and he dropped 8 pounds within the week. And this is already the first 4 weeks, and then we changed it. And then that following week, because of the shock system of changing his diet, he dropped another basically 8 pounds in a week because we switched it off.
Yeah. Kris, would you be willing to come into one of our Zoom calls? So we do a Zoom call every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, where it's like a success checkup support call, where basically it's focused on helping people with their nutrition and macros. Would you be willing to jump on a Zoom one time and have a chat with our members?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Perfect. And we always want to thank our audience out there for tuning in, guys. This is a great opportunity. So if you have any questions to pick a legend's brain about nutrition or working out or motivation, please post it in the comments. And Kris, you got a book coming up, right? So let's talk about that. So what's the book about? And I still want to get into your Cambodian story if we could. I don't know. It's already
It's in that book. It's in that book.
Okay, can we start there then? So give me the grand. So the book is it an inspirational book? Is it an educational book? What kind of book is it?
It's actually it's all together. It's mindset. It's winning. It's going through the struggle. It's basically, pretty much everything in the book, in the sense where, like, I start with my childhood of growing up from Cambodia, from the killing field. Anybody who doesn't know anything about the killing field, it's doing a genocide where 3 million Cambodia got killed. Wow. So anybody who's educated, they kill down to the babies. Doesn't matter. Because they don't want them to rise up in power. Yeah. And so, I was there, and you it's kind of like if you watch a movie of, like, all the shootings and the missiles and everything taking place, and then we're like, we dig like a big hole to get in because we don't want to get hit. Wow. And then just pray that we're not going to get basically bombed on. Oh yeah. So that's where we're at. And then I've seen you name it, like, as a 6-year-old kid, you always remember the bad things, right? Yeah. So I remember walking through, crossing the swamp and seeing dead bodies. I mean, wow. I remember watching where they take a baby and slam it on the tree. Ooh. Because you name it, as a little kid, I've seen it, man. And crossing the swamp, I still have marks to this day of on my legs and stuff like that. And we escaped into a refugee camp, and then we was at another refugee camp in Thailand. Mm. And my uncle sponsored us and brought us to the United States. Mm. And I mean, that was 7 years old. So if that didn't happen to me, I probably would have been dead, or probably would have been, picking rice somewhere, right?
So how did you survive that? Like, while there's bombs going on and they're smashing babies, and, like, you got out of there when you're 6 years. Like, how long did that war? When did that war start? How old were you when that war kind of started?
Oh, God, it started, I believe, in about 1970, 69, somewhere around there. Okay. I was born in 73. So pretty much, my mom had to say that she was something else. She didn't say she was educated. Oh, okay. She didn't say anything else. She had to lie. Oh, yeah. And, I never want to disappoint Mom to this day, and the reason why is because Mom's the strongest person I know. Where, there's 3 of us, and my grandma and my second grandma. I mean, you name it, all of us were together. But, like, I remember in the middle of the night, I'm starving as a little kid, because all they fed us was, like, rice broth. That's it. Wow. And so, as a skinny little kid, my mom got up in the middle of the night and went and stole potatoes from the Khmer Rouge. And pretty much she cooked it and put it in her mouth. And she said we were so good, we wouldn't even make a peep. And the next day they lined them all up, and they said that, and I know somebody's been stealing potatoes. Mm. If I find out who it is, I'm going to cut your head off. Wow. So you're talking about the strongest mom having to get up, knowing the sacrifice, but trying to feed her kids. Mm-hmm. And so, to this day, it's like, what can I do for Mom? What can I do to help out? Because I know that, if it wasn't for Mom, we wouldn't be here. Yeah. Oh, no, I agree. And I have a lot of respects for moms. Like, I see what Neri does, and I empathize with a lot of women that are now homeschooling, right? Like, we've taken my oldest son, and now he's full-time at the house. So it's like trying to keep him
you know, occupied, try to like educate him at the same time as like not go nuts, right? And like still find your time, because everybody needs their time, right? So like I try to make it at least. Yesterday our son passed out in the car, so I was like, okay, I know he's in there. I was like, Nair, I'm gonna take this guy for a walk, go do whatever you want to do, right? Like, and that's huge, right? And without moms, the sacrifices that they've made throughout the years, it goes a long way. So we got a lot of questions here, and people are wondering about your book. So when's the book coming out?
The book is almost done.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm going to try to finish it, but I'm also going to basically launch my podcast, because, I have a lot of friends of mine that have, 1 million, 2 million followers on Instagram. So I want it to hit a bestseller right away. So if I can launch it right, then I'll just have everybody order in that one day for like a really, really cheap price.
Okay.
And we'll do like a Kindle, first through Amazon, and then we'll launch it that way. And I told people if they order on that one day, that special day that we're going to come up with, it's only going to be $2.99.
Beautiful.
On Kindle.
Okay.
And the reason why I do that is because I want everybody to read it, and I want everybody to get motivated, to pump themselves up again, to realize that there's more to life.
Mm-hmm.
And if I change my mindset, and if the book goes into detail, and I'm not afraid to say it, because when I was going from the hospital to a rehab center, people don't understand, like having to transfer and doing everything and doing the crazy rehab, like, because I didn't have all my feelings from the belly button down.
Yeah.
I would shit on myself.
Oh, wow.
And I had to deal with that, and had to learn how to totally empty my system first thing in the morning, because if it's not, I'm in trouble.
Right. And
so after 3 months, I went back to training my clients at the gym, and there's time when I'm playing it off and I'm going to the bathroom and having to clean myself up. Like as a grown man, it messes with your head. But I had to figure out a way to I got to get through this. Mm-hmm. And of course now, I haven't had one accident in over a year, but the thing about it is people don't understand, you think you have to deal with one thing, but there's people out there that, dealing way worse than you.
Yeah. And
so I always say, there's a guy that has no shoes, but he never appreciated until he met a guy who's got no feet, right?
Oh, yeah.
So someone out there has it worse than you do. Yeah. And so in gratitude, and you focus on what you need to focus on a regular basis, you're going to get to where you need to. But if you're not focusing on gratitude, you're focusing on all the fighting, you're focusing on I don't have this,
the virus, right? Focus on the virus. You focus on how other people are doing this, how other people are doing that. Yeah. Yeah,
you compare yourself to other people, and that's one thing that I can honestly say, even though we're kind of jumping a little bit, but when I got on that stage, if I focus on, man, there's no way I could beat these guys. These guys are freaking giant, and they got guys like Ronnie outweigh me by 100 pounds. How am I going to compete against a freaking nature like that? Mm-hmm. But I didn't focus on them. I focused on myself. I knew that if I got better from every show, from one show to the next, I did my job, because I'm competing with me first. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of people need to focus on, is because they look at Instagram, they see these beautiful, bodies and beautiful models and this and that. And they're like, you know what? I'll never look like that. And they start feeling sorry for themselves. Versus you know what? This is me now. Yeah. I want to be able to be happy and look in the mirror and like what I see, versus always trying to cover myself up. Because if you're like, you know what, I'm gonna focus on dropping 5 to 10 pounds a month, and even though I have 60, 70 pounds, don't focus on that, because it's overwhelming, right? So it's like 5 pounds a month, 10 pounds a month. Just focus on that. Focus on that, because next thing you know, in a year time, you're gonna hit your goal. But if you don't focus on that 5 to 10 pounds every single month, and you focus on the overwhelming of 60, 70 pounds, you're gonna be discouraged. You're not gonna do it.
That's amazing. Yeah, and this is kind of in our industry, I love Grant Cardone. I love the 10X, and it's thinking in abundance. But I also worked with another coach. So like I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching. So people are worried about spending $60, $100, $200 on this kind of coaching where we provide everything. It's like, no, I've spent thousands of dollars monthly on coaching. And one of the things he says is like, make your goal, have a big goal, right? Break it down into smaller chunks, and then make it obtainable. So it's like the way, you know, we have a membership right now, and we have about 459 or 469 people in the group. And my big goal is to get 500 in there, right? Is that a big goal, right? People would laugh at that goal. No, that's an achievable goal, right? To add 40 or 50 more members, we already see the process of how to get there. So when people are focused on, like, you know, when they join, it's like, oh, how much weight do you want? All of it, right? Like, I want to lose all of it. It's like, okay, well, no, you need to figure out what number it is that you want to do. And then it's like, okay, let's break that down into a small habit. And idealistically, if somebody can lose, if they got 20 pounds to lose, because not everybody has 20 pounds to lose, there's going to be a point where you can't lose any more weight. It's just like us. We can't put on more muscle. The highest muscle I've ever been was about 48, 49%, right? To go to that 50 plus, you know, I'm not willing to go there, right, to get to that level. But there's going to be a point where you can only get so low in body fat. There's only still a point where you can get to so much weight, and then you just reshift your focus, right? And then so take your big goal, keep it somewhat realistic. Like if you were 120 pounds in high school, right, as a female, and then now you're 40 and you're 180, then find that kind of like somewhere in between, right? Like maybe 140, 150. Like that's going to be such a big difference to you. And then just focus on that, like half pound a week, right? Pound a week at most. 2 pounds a week, I think, is really aggressive. I don't know, but what's your method?
People like the weight scale messes with them, so I said, don't worry about the weight scale. Just look at pictures and you know, do measurements and see how much you change that way, because some people naturally put on more muscle than others, you know, so even females. So it's like, if you're not dropping weight, but muscle weighs more than fat does, so don't get discouraged. Yeah. But if you look at pictures, look at the little changes. Hey, you know what? Little fat handle is starting to come off here. I noticed my back fat is less. Yeah. You know, so pictures don't lie. Yeah. And I always tell people, like all my guys, I say, look, take pictures every month. I want to see a progress picture. Yeah. Because then I can make adjustment if for some reason they're not seeing quick enough results, and they can honestly look at me in the eye and say, you know what, I'm not cheating, coach. Yeah. I'm doing everything you tell me to do. Then I said, okay, let's make these changes now. Yeah. But if you did not do everything that your coach tells you to do, and you don't get the results, don't blame it on your coach. Look at yourself in the mirror and own up on it. Yeah. You know, look, I didn't do what I should, but I can fix that, because as human beings, sometimes we get discouraged and we mess up on our diet or something, and we're like, you know what, especially for our boot camp people, right? And then they're like, you know what, F it, I'll just eat whatever I want now. No, tomorrow's the new day. Start all over again. Yeah, boom. You know? No problem. And I always tell my boot camp people, look, if you're doing everything, if you're doing 80, 85% right, and you mess up, it's okay. We're human beings. You're supposed to mess up.
Yeah. And so like what you said, when people fail, 2 things. Number 1, absolutely don't give up on yourself. And number 2, don't give up on your coach. Because if you give up on one of those 2 things, so number 1, you're going to give up on yourself. But if you give up on your coach, there's nobody in your corner. You know what I mean? And so it's at that time you need to be reaching out to your coaches even more and be transparent, right? Like if you're struggling with this, then open that up to your coach. This way they can actually give you like a legitimate, you know, here's the step-by-step process. Now let me hold you accountable to this. And then if you fail, at least they can still be there to help you up. So don't give up on yourself. And if you do give up on yourself, your coach won't. Right? Continue to pay your coaches, or whatever value, because in the end, they're going to be your biggest cheerleader in your corner, right?
Yeah, and you talk about, you know, like some of the members complaining about having to pay $150, $200 a month. I paid my coach because I kept taking second, and I needed to win to get my IFBB Pro card. I paid my coach at the time. He had 7 Mr. Olympia competitors he was training. Yeah. I wanted the best coach in the world. I went to him and he charged me $350 1 hour. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would go. We would fly down to LA.
Yeah.
We would spend the day with him.
Yeah.
And in one day, I would spend $2,500, $3,000 in one freaking day.
Yeah.
And why did I do that? People go, well, why would you do that? You're crazy. No, knowledge is not crazy. If you learn it and you learn from the best in the world, that knowledge is going to be there for life.
Right. So
you're never going to waste it.
Yeah.
But you need a coach to push you. You need to increase your knowledge. I mean, like, we've had the same, mentor coaching, and we have different coaches, but like, you got to invest in yourself. And if you don't invest in yourself, you're never going to get where you need to get to.
Well, when you don't pay attention. And when you don't pay attention, then and you're not paying, then there's no pressure. So it works both ways. So when you pay attention. Now for your coach, when you pay, it puts pressure on them to produce, right? If you're paying something, like for us, so we had these ads out going, right? And it's a free 14 days. So we're doing a free 14-day program. Why are we doing that? Well, because we want you to come and try it. It's a sample, right? We know that if you join us online for 14 days, you're going to fall in love with working out. You're going to actually do it. We're going to teach you how to get there, and then you're going to want to join, right? So, and somebody's like, well, this is their livelihood. Well, of course. Because if I can do everything for free, then, and just do this and not have to worry about paying bills, paying for, my family, paying for whatever it is that I need to do, then yeah, okay, then no problem. I don't need to take in any currency, right? If all my needs were taken care of, then I would, yeah, absolutely just give everything away for free. But when you're paying me, that puts the pressure on me to produce, right? Well, as a coach.
Not only that, like I've helped people for free before, and I'm not gonna lie, the one that I helped for free, or even Jill, like she's helped people for free, and I told her, you charge them. If you don't charge them, they're not gonna value it. Yeah. And sure enough, she comes to me and she goes, "You're right." And the reason why is because if you're not paying, you're not gonna value it. And so I always tell my people, look, I gotta charge you, man, because if I don't charge you, you're not gonna stick to your program, you're not gonna value me, and you're not gonna do what you're supposed to do. But when you got to pay someone some money, you're going to pay attention, and you're going to basically do it because you value it. That's the difference.
And pay so that if you're not following the program, then you feel the pain, right? So when you're paying a lot of money, so I can pay you, Kris, hey, here's $10, Kris. And then you give me, you give me all this stuff for free. I'm like, nah, it's $10. You know what I mean? I don't care, right? When we run the 21 for 21, right, program, 60% of those people don't care because it's just $20. I make $20 an hour. It means nothing to me. Now, if I charge you $200 for that exact same program, you're like, okay, now we're dipping into my savings, right? And you're like, now I've got to pay attention, because otherwise the pain of me not taking advantage of this program is higher than the value of that dollar. And
so you feel like you're wasting your money.
Yeah, put a little bit of pain behind it, right? Because pain lets you know you're alive. When I woke up this morning and my legs were sore, I laughed it off because it's like, hey, man, I'm alive. I feel good, right? I did a killer workout, right? It lets me know. It gets me going, right? If I had no pain in my life, I would never wake up at 4:30, right? If I was, and for me, I'm the pain of me pushing my day and being frustrated yesterday caused me the pain to have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, right? Now I have this little thing. For a little people, a little bit off topic, is that I downloaded this daytime. It's called a daytime alarm, Kris. And so you set the alarm, and 20 minutes prior, it's you just set the phone face up, and it starts to light up, illuminate slowly, yellow, and then all of a sudden, at 20 minutes, you start to hear birds chirping, and it doesn't go wah, wah, wah. It's just like, and I wake up, I'm like, oh. You know what I mean? I'm like, is there birds out? And it's like, no, it's 4 in the morning. You know what I mean?
It's so funny you say that, because I get really bird chirping for real, because I got chickens. I got little big chickens.
So you have no choice but to get up.
So they're in the house right now because they're too little to be out there in the coop.
Okay.
So I got chickens because I wanted some organic eggs, and I wanted not have to worry about it anymore. So I got 12 chickens. So they lay only 1 egg a day. So that's 12 a dozen egg a day.
Yeah. Is that the eggs you eat? You only eat those eggs?
Well, I mean,
you probably eat a lot of eggs, man.
I mean, between the family, the kids and everybody else too.
Yeah.
So, we and if we don't, we'll give it away to family because obviously we waste eggs.
Oh.
But yeah, I would never in a million year if you told me to get chickens in the past, I'd laugh at you.
Yeah.
I guess with the epidemic that's going on right now and everything else, so crazy because I went to the feed store and they're out of chicken. I was like,
no.
And then I go to Home Depot and like all the chicken coop stuff, and they were out too. I was like, holy crap! So it was really weird, but I found some, and I try to pick the most quiet one so that way it doesn't scare the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But they still chirp.
So Kris, I want to know what is right now. Do you have another show coming up, or you retired?
No,
you said you retired.
I'm retired. Like I decided to retire, and I want to put besides my online coaching.
Yep.
I want to put both leg into basically public speaking. That's my passion.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the same effort with the bodybuilding, and just so I joined a Toastmaster, believe it or not.
Oh, dude. No, I was in Toastmasters, or did we talk? We talked about that. No.
Yeah.
Bro, I was the president of Toastmasters here in Winnipeg.
Yeah. So I think they're a little old school.
Oh, it's old school. It's so old school. Yeah.
But I mean, I did it just because I'm like, you know what? I know they pick on you for every and
big time. I was gonna say your speaking has gone way up. Like ever since we've had conversations on the phone and that, that's phenomenal. And that these are now the life skills, the tools, right? So instead of going to the gym and learning a new like chest routine or whatever it might have been back in the day, now you're learning like different life skills, because if you're going to really promote this book hard, you're going to be doing interviews like this. And if you're sitting there and you're basically using crutch words constantly, you're going to discredit yourself from the higher ups, right? So the people that are educated, the people that are public speakers, they're going to look at you and say, I don't want to bring this guy on my stage, man. The guy like hums and haws for 5 or 10 minutes, and then there's no substance, there's no quality, and that's a life skill.
The only person that can hum and haw and get away with it is Sir Richard Branson.
Oh, yes.
He's he says that like every word, but that's Sir Richard Branson.
Yeah. He is who he is. He can basically do it. But it would be interesting to see a guy like that take on some public speaking coaching, and then get good, because I love his stuff. I listen to his books. I think he's a phenomenal human being. Right? There's like Tony Robbins and there's Richard Branson. I really respect those two guys, and I can't listen to any of his stuff because of the ums. Like I can't. And as phenomenal as and attracted I am to this guy, the fact that he can't speak very well. I cringe because I put it in a podcast, and it's a very intimate moment for me when I'm listening to audiobooks or somebody podcast or a YouTube video. It's a very intimate moment for me, and if I can't get over the fact that you can't publicly speak, I have a hard time listening to you. So he'll never get my money. He'll never get any money from me. If he had a coaching program as good as he is, I would have a hard time going there unless I was sitting down with him one-on-one and we were talking like friends. But I would never go to one of his courses because it's like, I don't want to listen to him speak. So these are all like life tools. So if he did that, this guy's making $10 billion a year. Well, now he can make 20. You know what I mean? And I'm sure he would take that if he said, hey, this is all you got to do, Richard, is you just got to hire a speaking coach for 3 months. You know what I mean? Just do it, bro. Right? It's going to bring you to a whole nother platform. So I want to ask you, Kris, you're not competing anymore. What does your food look like right now? What is your personal food?
What? One thing that I always tell my people, like, look, you got to make it a lifestyle. Yeah. You got to make it a lifestyle, because if you don't, but so I'm so keen in my body, like I'll eat certain food, and if I'm not careful, I'll start feeling my hands swelling up, and I'm like, all right, that's not gonna work.
Right.
So I still have the mentality of what Jack LaLanne says: if man makes it, don't eat it. Okay. Because unless it's my cheat, like
bubble
Jill
tea.
and I, what we like to do is we like to go over to pretty much like the drive-in, and then we'll cheat once a week on Saturday night.
Okay.
That's a date night.
Yeah.
So we do that all the time. So that's the only time that we're like, okay, let's reward ourselves.
Yeah.
But the rest of the time, I mean, we have a full gym in the garage. So like we go right into the gym. Yeah. And she gets her workout done every morning, and then she does her cardio, and I go in there and do my 30, 45 minutes workout. Yeah. And then I'm done. But you have to make it a lifestyle. If you don't, you're never going to do it.
Okay. So let's answer the question here. What are you eating? Did you have breakfast today?
I don't start eating now.
Okay.
Until I'll get up in the morning and I might have a banana just for my workout. Okay. Just because I need something to get me going. Yep. And then when I get done with that, then I'll have, you know, like for instance, I normally do like a brown rice, and I'll do some chicken. Yep. And then after that, I'll
chicken broccoli.
Just chicken and brown rice. That's I'm not a big vegetable person.
Seasoning? So no seasoning?
I'll do seasoning because the biggest thing I always tell people, like, look, all my guys, I never cut out their sodium. Don't go crazy with it, but I'll never cut out seasoning. And when you're Asian, man, you got to have your seasoning.
Jerome, what do you know about the seasoning? It's actually my man Jerome's birthday. And we call I call him sinigang.
Thank you.
So sinigang is do you know what sinigang is? It's a soup, right? It's like pho, right? So it's like a soup, but it's a Filipino soup. So that's his nickname because he's extra salty.
So I gotta have my seasoning, but like I tell all my guys, don't cut out your salt. Yeah. You cut out your salt. Yeah. You're gonna fluctuate weight a lot, and you're gonna be pissed off because if you ate no seasoning, Monday through Thursday or Friday, whatever, and you decide to cheat on Saturday, and you go and eat like a normal food, you're gonna swell up, guarantee anywhere between 4 to 6 pounds. Okay. But if you kept your seasoning in your diet through your week, you're not gonna swell up that much. And Jill was a big one from the beginning because she would cut out her salt. And once I start realizing, I'm like, you know what? Are you cutting out your sodium? She's like, yeah, because I never put sodium in my food. Yeah. And then once we kept the sodium, she didn't fluctuate the weight so much. Yeah. But normally I'll just have some brown rice, and then I'll have I made my own beef jerky, so that way basically it's not all freaking crazy salty. Yeah. And then I'll snack on some beef jerky, my own healthy beef jerky anyway. Yeah. And then the crazy part about it, because I know my body at night, it's just a tradition that mom's always done. I'll have some fruit at night. Okay. And that's really it. So I still eat clean, but at the same time, I don't do what I used to do. When I was competing, even at the wheelchair Mr. Olympia, I was getting 6 meals in a day. And I'm not a big shake person unless I have to absolutely do a shake. Right. I'll do it, but I like to get all my protein from food. So that's the difference between the two now. And you know, as long as I keep my abs all year long, I'm happy. And that's how I kind of look at it right now. It's like, you know what? As long as I don't get out of shape, but you'll know pretty soon. Even if you're trying to like lean down and tone up and drop some body fat, start paying attention to your body. Like what if you ate certain food? How do you feel? Do you feel more bloated? Do you feel swollen? And then you'll figure out what food is going to swell you up and you shouldn't be eating, and what food you should be eating. Yeah.
This is a great podcast, man. Anybody out there that wants to learn about nutrition, maybe fast forward a little bit towards the end. But then, I mean, if you want to know about nutrition, excuse me, this is exactly it. So you didn't mention a lot of food there, like, you know, sort of dive a little bit deeper into this. So we got the banana pre-workout. Excuse me, banana pre-workout. You got your chicken and brown rice, and then fruit, and that's it. That's all you're eating.
Jerky and then fruit, or I might have a meal instead of jerky. Then I might have another protein meal. Yeah. Okay. And Jill likes to make me this salad where it's basically almost a vegetarian salad, but I'll put a cup of chicken in there. Yeah. And with like some beans and just a bunch of different source of cucumbers and just kind of like a regular salad, and I'll put a couple pieces of chicken, and that'll be my. So really, I do 2 protein meals now.
Yeah.
And then just I don't do regular pre-workout, so I'll do like a banana in the morning, and then I'll have some fruit at night. But if I'm still hungry, I'll have some jerky.
Yeah.
So it just, I listen to my body, and I figure out what, you know, if I'm hungry, I'll eat more. If I'm not, I won't eat as much. But I mean, you can call it more of an intermittent fasting stage,
right,
versus in the past, it's consistently meals.
Right. Well, because you had to put more food in you. It's hard to intermittent fast when you got to eat a lot of calories, because otherwise you're just plugging in. I've done it before where I've eaten all my meals back to back to back to back, and it's treacherous, man. Like at that point, you're no longer enjoying it. But
not so much of that is like, you can't intermittent fast and compete in a bodybuilding show.
No.
You might have a couple of those phenom that can do it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if you want to put on muscle, how many guys do you see that does intermittent fasting that's got some muscle on them? They get lean.
Yeah.
And they might be, you know, leaner, but you'll never see a big shredded guy doing intermittent fasting, because it's impossible, because you got to get your protein in, and you got to get your calorie in to sustain that muscle.
That makes sense. So Kris, let me ask you, let's finish this off, and we got some actually guests who made some comments. So Kelly Goodwin is taking your advice: if a man makes it, don't eat it. So examples of that would be nibs, mini eggs, and what else? What's another?
Just sticking to whole food. I mean, fruits, vegetable.
Yeah.
You know, your meat. You know, nothing processed.
Yeah.
So you know, cheese and yogurt and all those things, because, you know, I mean, dairy isn't bad, especially for ladies. I mean, you know, you got to get your calcium in, but I can honestly tell you this is dairy is harder to break down in your system. So like I've done trial with my guys and my girls where I'll cut out the dairy, and just from cutting out the dairy, they start to tighten up and they start to drop about 3 to 5 pounds in a week.
Love it. Yeah, and I've done research on it, and they say that for most people, dairy causes inflammation, like massive amounts of inflammation, almost instantly. But I think for our general clients, I don't think that they should completely cut it out, because it's just like, don't cut out gluten, don't cut out grains, don't cut out sugar, and just like you said, don't cut out your salt. I think if you're looking to do this for the next 30, 40, 50 years, whatever your life expectancy is, you gotta have a little bit of everything. Otherwise, you're gonna, you know, when you do have that, let's say you go have an ice cream cake or something on Saturday, it's just going to put your body through just extreme pain. It's like working out once a week, you know?
And you got to do what works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people go, well, I want to do the intermittent fasting. Well, if you're hungry all the time, that's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
And, you know, some people go, well, I want to do the ketogenic diet. But if you like carbs, that's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
So you gotta find something that works for you. But how do you know it works for you? Try it.
Yeah.
Try it for a couple of weeks. Try it for a month, and if you can sustain it, then if you can make it a lifestyle, then do it. But if you can't make it a lifestyle, don't do it, because you know what? This is, like you're saying, this is long term.
Yes. Yes. So we got a couple other comments here. So Cynthia is one of our followers. Thank you to Cynthia for always tuning in. She says, your amazing work you've achieved on your human anatomy. Congratulations on your wins. Elbow bump. She also says her brother was a former competitor, and she's seen firsthand how much work it takes to achieve your goal. We got Blessing, and she's saying, so changing your meals every 4 to 6 weeks, so thus you confuse their body. And I just want to make a little exclamation mark on that. I think that yes, changing the way that you're eating, or integrating new foods or a different approach, should happen in and around 4 to 6 weeks. If you've already hit a plateau, but then you have to make sure that in those 4 to 6 weeks that you've been following the same meal plan. So you can't say that you're keto and you've been keto yesterday, and then today you're back to eating carbs, and then tomorrow you do keto. It's like you're either this or you're that. You're not, you're either vegan or you're eating meat, right? And it's like you got to pick one, and then you got to try it for 4 to 6 weeks, but you have to stay consistent with it in order for you to actually see if it's worked or not. If not, then you're just confusing yourself. And
you still gotta stay within the guideline. What do I mean by that? If you take someone who does, like you're saying, if they're a vegetarian or they're a vegan, and they don't eat no meat, Well, you guys are going to probably have to rely on more protein shakes and more, you know, tofu and beans and stuff that's going to have a higher protein content. Because why do you got to get your protein in? Protein basically breaks down to amino acid. Your hair, your nails, your muscle, your metabolism, everything is based on your protein. Fat and carbs is just energy fuel. Okay, so if you're not getting consistent amount of protein and you're trying to basically, you know, put on muscle and burn fat, it's going to be really, really hard. Or if it is possible, all you're doing is you're cutting calorie, and then after a while, your body's going to get used to that, and you're not only going to break muscle down, but you're breaking fat and muscle combined together.
So somebody, let's say 42 years old, wants to lose, like realistically wants to lose about 15 pounds, working out pretty frequently, and how would you approach that? Or actually, I know it's all independent, so I'm not even gonna go there because you're smarter than that. Let me say, okay, what would be a generalized macro split that you would give to somebody in that kind of age category?
So, you know, if you guys count macro, you can't go crazy in a sense where, like, you know what, I'm going to stick within the guideline, but I'm going to have, you know, a chocolate bar. Okay. I'm going to have a Snicker. I'm going to have this. You know, to me, when you're counting macro that way, you know, and that's why to me, most people, 90% of the people, I'll write down specific food and I'll tell them they can have these 3 choices for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, maybe throw in a couple protein shakes in between because they're not big eater. But the biggest thing is I make sure that they're at least staying within the guideline of making sure the protein is consistent. If they want to do higher carbs, no problem. They're going to have to drop their fats.
Okay.
You know, vice versa. So they'll fluctuate the fat or the carbs, but the protein always stabilizes because I want to make sure that at least their body's metabolizing right and keep it muscle.
So would that be like a gram per body weight kind of deal?
Just depends. So like, let's say if someone is trying to put on more muscle, have them at 1.5 grams to maybe even 2 grams. But like if they're trying to lose weight, let's say if they're 240 pounds and they want to get down to 180, I make sure at least they're getting in their lean mass where they want to be. So at least 180 grams a day. Okay. And then break that up into like 5 serving or something, divide it into 5.
Okay. And we're really over time. Jerome, are we okay to keep going maybe for a couple more minutes? I think we're on to something here.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is where the scale comes in hand, right? So if you want to use the scale for anything, don't worry about your weight because I've already drank 3 of these. Actually, I've drank 4 of these guys. And I've had 2 cups of tea already, right? So, like, I'm heavy at this point. So the scale means
and the water should always be consistent no matter what type of diet you're on, because I've worked with ladies before where they haven't dropped any weight and they say they're sticking to the diet to the T. And I'm like, are you drinking enough water? No. I said, are you getting at least close to a gallon a day? No. And then they get a gallon a day for a week, and then the next week they start dropping weight because their body is flushing their system out, which, you know, that's so important.
So a gallon to us Canadians is 4 liters. 4 liters of water. And, okay, so I like that. So they got the gallon of water, and you're saying that, okay, so going back to my theory, is that we have the scales, the Omron scales that determine your body fat. And you're talking about have at least your lean body mass. So if you jump on the scale, you're 200 pounds, and let's say you're 50% muscle, right? Like, that's crazy. But you're 200 pounds, you're 50% muscle. So that means that you've got to get at least 100 grams of protein, correct?
Minimum.
Yeah. So the
more is not going to hurt you, but at least minimum.
Yeah, and that's why when we give a generalized nutrition split, so somebody that's just starting off with us, we do like a 40-30-30 split. right? And that's enough to give you as much protein as you're going to need to support your muscle, also support your metabolism and prevent your hair from falling out. And then you get enough carbs to keep you sane, and then the fats to provide the satiety, right? Like a lot of people try to go with the low-fat diet, and what ends up happening is they end up hating it because there's no taste, right? Like you can put seasoning on your chicken. Like who would rather have a chicken breast than a nice chicken thigh? You know what I mean? Like I guess it depends on how you like it, but that little bit of fat adds a little bit more flavor, right? And
yeah, and it's lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we do chicken thighs.
Yeah.
I mean, so the thing about it is like, it's got to fit your lifestyle. And if you're like, I love salmon, okay, well, great. You know, if you want to eat salmon, not a problem.
Yeah.
But remember, salmon's got a little bit more fat content on it. You might have to drop your carbs a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So here, perfect example. I love that, Kris. Thank you. So you do not adjust your protein. You always get at least 1 gram per pound. So if you're using MyFitnessPal, then you need to make sure that you set those macro percentages in so that you're getting that gram per pound. If not, you can even go a little bit higher of 1.5, even 2x. Then you make the adjustments based around your lifestyle. So if you're more of a carbivore, meaning you like to eat carbs, then you go maybe higher carbs but lower fat. But if you love your fats, then you switch it around and you go higher fat. I love fats. Like I eat fatty foods all the time and I thrive off it, right? And I always hit the number one thing I do is I hit my protein goals. And then after that, I'm just like, man, I just want the rest in fats. I can go all day
like
without carbs.
Diet, right? Right now, everyone's like they're doing this carnivore diet, right?
Okay.
Like, well, you know, I can just eat meat. I can eat fatty meat. I can have steak all day and I can eat weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just remember something that they're not the carnivore diet. They'll eat maybe once or twice a day.
Yes.
But that fat sustained them all day.
Yeah.
So like I said, if that works for you, great. But for me, I like a balance.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, Kris, any last words of motivation or encouragement for people that are going through coronavirus at home, trying to stay safe, trying to stay sane?
Yeah, you know, the only thing that I can tell you guys at this moment right now, emotions is created by motions. And I know that a lot of you guys right now are in a situation like, you know what, I don't have a gym to work out at. I don't have the actual place where I can go to an RJ's place and really get motivated. But motivation is within. As a coach, for us, we can't motivate you. Mm-hmm. You have to motivate yourself to want to do it. Mm-hmm. And so, but if you are not exercising right now, I can promise you that your household right now, you're probably going to be really moody. You're probably going to take it out on the kids, the wife or the husband, whoever. Yeah. So the best advice I can give you right now is exercise, do something, because that will set the tone of your emotions, how you're going to feel all day and how you're going to be. So especially right now in the crisis that you know, you're not able to go to the gym and not able to go to stores and do whatever you want to do, or even a restaurant. You know, but the only thing that's going to keep you sane right now is get your exercise in, guys. There is no excuse for that. I'm sorry, but like, I'm really blunt with my people. Yep. You cannot give me enough excuse why you cannot exercise.
So get it done, because you're going to be emotional, and all your emotions are going to affect your home lifestyle. Because if everybody's trapped under one house and one person is extra moody, and all it could take is just a 10, 30-minute workout, and you're going to feel a lot better, and then the environment at your house is going to completely change. So Kris Dim, I appreciate your time, brother. I love you. And Perseverance to Win with Kris Dim, that's going to be coming out shortly. And once it gets released, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to help you promote this. So once you get word of it, the Kindle, whatever you need, brother, I got you. And for the Fit Fam, we're going to be bringing Kris to one of Jen's Zoom calls very shortly, so we'll arrange a time, Kris. So that's going to be special to the Fit Fam. All right, everybody. Kris, you ready?
Yep.
Yeah.